Hello, everyone. Daniel here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be reviewing Batman the Imposter #1. I'm pretty excited. I've been hearing a lot of things about this book. So, this book is written by Tomlin, who is a writer director, taking the first crack at Batman. And I think this is a perfect place to start with a Black Label property. We also have art and the cover by Andrea Sorrentino with colors by Jordie Bellaire. And let me tell you, this team of it's interesting to see Andres Sorrentino doing something not with Jeff Lemire. It's been a little while since I've seen a book like that, so I'm pretty excited to see what this book brings us. So, really quickly, let's go over the synopsis for the book, and then we'll get into the review. So, Bruce Wayne's mission as Batman has only been underway for a couple of years or so in this book, but he can tell he's making a difference. Unfortunately, he's made some powerful enemies. All the traditional power brokers of Gotham resent the disruption the Batman has brought to town. So it seems one of them has a plan to neutralize him. So this is pretty interesting because it's not only the criminals now, like the gangsters and the mobsters and the rogue gallery that's starting to build in the first couple of years of Batman being Batman, but also the elite have they have a stake because, as we know, some of the elite in Gotham are corrupt, and even if they're not, like there's still stuff that they're affected by the Batman day-to-day workings. So the premise of the book is that they there is a second Batman haunting Gotham's rooftops and alleys, and one has no qualms about murdering criminals live on tape. With the entire might of the Gotham PD and Gotham's most rich and powerful coming down on his head, Batman must find the imposter and somehow clear his name. But how can you prove your innocence from behind the mask? That's pretty much what this book is asking. And the book does not, like, it starts off with a bang. We start off with Batman uh pretty much bleeding to death at the doorstep of Dr. Thompson, who's his well, I guess Bruce Wayne psychiatrist in this case. Um so it's pretty much like from the get-go we already have Leslie Tompkins. So from the get-go we pretty much have a, like, there's not a lot you could do because now this one individual knows who Batman is. And Leslie Thompson's kind of a badass in the comics. She's not gonna just get pushed around or get convinced. Like, she knows that if Batman is going to be a danger to society or to himself, she must intervene, and that's just kind of her duty as a doctor. Um, the contrast of this amazing story is also just brought, like, it escalates so much when you get to see the beautiful art and designs and panels by Sorrentino. So here we have a big. This book's about 50 pages, so obviously we get a little bit of a recap of like who Batman is, but this one is through the lens of Doctor Tompkins. Um, as she kind of figures out who, and that once she finds out who Batman is, she puts all the pieces together. Uh, so we have this really cool panel. Just kind of, this is an exposition page, but it's one of the coolest exposition pages you could really do. Um, so as I mentioned, we have Batman doing the Batman thing throughout the book, but we get a moment where it's really interesting. Batman has this moment of clarity as he talks to Leslie Tompkins, and she says, like, "I feel like I'm making a difference." Last week, Gotham had its first night with zero violent crimes in 54 years. That sometimes those kind of things don't really get discussed or talked about in Batman comics. Like, is he really making a difference? Is anything that he's doing actually, you know, we like to focus on the big rogues like the Joker and like world-ending events with the Justice League, but sometimes we don't see the street level stuff like this. Now back to the art, because I like to ping pong back and forth between the story and the art. I really enjoyed this book, so you'll be able to tell. Um, yeah, I mean, Sorrentino is he always trying out like different types of things. We have some onomatopoeia and sound effects. I like this little when something happens like a bones breaking or an injury, we see the X-ray type of, almost like Mortal Kombat in the fatalities, or in those attacks where they would highlight what the bone would be doing at the time. It almost feels like that, but obviously, less, in a less graphic fashion. So yeah, I really like that. I love Sorrentino's colors; they're very muted and toned down, which give the book, like, this is a Batman book, so it needs to be. And not that it needs to be, but this Batman book in particular, the tone matches the colors and the scheme that Belair is adding to the book. I think Belair and Sorrentino do they're a fantastic team of art and colorist. So I really enjoyed a lot of the projects. Um, and I also really like the introduction of Detective Wong, who we see here. We meet in this book as she interviews one of the elites that has been, um, I guess Batman has had an impact on their business. I think it was one of their buildings or something like that, where something happened, and then she's brought in as part of this task force. I really like the panels here of like this the footage of Batman throwing these guys over the imposter Batman, I would think, um, throwing these guys, and this is the first time that the GCPD has actual proof that Batman has murdered someone. But obviously, they don't know the difference between who we know to be Bruce Wayne as a reader, who's working with Dr. Leslie Tompkins, and trying to keep his secret, and also trying to figure out, I have to bring this imposter to justice, but how do I prove that he's the imposter? Seeing that he also has to contain his secret identity. So I think that's going to be interesting. They really created here a mystery that I'm happy to follow. I mean, this is a Batman story, so I was going to check it out regardless of what happened, but I'm very, very happy that this really paid off. Like, I'm really enjoying this. I'm looking forward to this. I believe there's going to be 3 books, so this will be a 3 act story, and so 50 pages, so about 150 pages of story of Batman, which I think it's perfect for a Black Label type of book. Yeah, so very much recommend this. Go check it out. So yeah, that's it. Let me know if you read this book, what you thought in the comments. Let me know what else you're reading. Let me know what other there's a lot of Batman books out. Let me know what else you're reading when it comes to that. And yeah, thanks for watching. Remember, share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. Remember, we'll have our DC Fandom stream Saturday, October 16th. And if you want to click the Patreon link on the description, patrons will get an invitation to come hang out on the stream. We'll have guests, probably. We'll have a more fixed schedule once the DC Fandom schedule is released, where I'll tell you whenever we'll have maybe a little breaks or something on the stream. So yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye.